Welcome to week 2 of the National League training tapes. And the first thing we got to do, of course, is say thank you to the reviewers. Without your work or with your work, what I do becomes a lot easier. It takes a lot less time. And before we really get started here, I want to take a moment just to look at this, and this really goes across all of the games and all of the, I think all season long, and this acronym, if you want to call it that, stands for How Can I Help the Crew? And that's really what we're going to be talking about a lot in this training tape, but also in the weeks to come. So we'll keep coming back to how can I help the crew? How can I make the crew better? And really comes down to what each member of the crew does to make the crew better. So let's get right into it. We're looking at play number 1, and we're looking at the line judge here down at the bottom. First of all, if you want to indicate your receivers off the line, if you move your hand up to at least a 90-degree angle, the body language just looks a lot better. When the arm is down like this, it looks a little tired, it looks a little disinterested. So get it up, and your body language will improve. So we've got a play that comes this way right here, and now we're talking about safety because there's really no reason to come up all this way. You get too close to the players, you run the risk of a second or a third guy coming in, taking out your knees. So there, you can very easily stay back and cover the play from the 40-yard line or the 41 where you started. And the reason for that is if you look at the linesman up at the top, he comes in with a perfect cross-field mechanic right there. The reason he's running in like that is to indicate that he's got your back, he's got your spot. So in terms of helping the crew, you can use that spot from your wing and from your wing buddy, stay back and stay safe. But also for the linesman, you can move in indicating you have a spot, but you can also go on the radio and let your buddy know that you have a spot for him, so that he remembers and the crew improves. When we remember or remind each other that we have each other's back. Moving on to play number 2, where again, we're looking at we have to get to the play, but we're actually looking at the wing officials. You'll notice this is goal line mechanics. We've got the deep guys behind the end line. So first of all, good job by the linesman to right at the snap. You're not reading anything. We're just moving towards the goal line right away. And if you look over here, we've got the line judge missing a few steps. So we'd like the line judge to be at the goal line at this moment, so that we're at the goal line when the runner crosses. The question arises, did we communicate this pre-snap? Did we talk about, let's make sure that we have goal line so that we remind each other? Another thing, just a very short thing here is in a crew of 8, for the referee and the center judge, it's difficult to be too wide. Here it looks like the center judge is just a little bit tight. Remember that as a center judge, you are only going to be asked to cover the play if it comes to you towards your side. If it goes away from you, you have cleanup, so you don't have to be that close to be able to cover across the field from you. So feel free to stay a little wider. But again, remember, communicate on the goal line mechanics so that you make the crew better by reminding everybody to do the correct mechanics. Moving on to play number 3, and here we have a situation with a DPI. We're looking at this receiver, but we're really not looking at the foul. We're more interested in the mechanics of it. So you'll notice we've got a trips formation here. So initially this is the wing, in this case the line judge key, and the question really is, when do we, this is tough one for the wing to catch because he's running away from the wing. But the real question is, when do we go from key to zone? And this is really a tough one. I would say that had we had let's say the running back comes into the flat, that could be a situation for the wing to pick up somebody in his zone. Here, there really isn't anybody in the wing's zone, so I would ask the wing to stay with number 7, to keep him in his vision, so that we catch this. You might be able to ask the back judge to see this, since this comes into his field of vision or his area, but then there's this push right there that happens on the back judge's keys, which makes it difficult to see enough of this contact in connection to when the ball gets there. So when nobody is in your area, feel free to stay with your key a little bit longer, I guess is the message here, so that we have a better chance as a crew to catch this foul. Moving on to play number 4, we're looking at a situation with a fair catch and a missed kick catch interference. But really, again, we're not looking at the foul, we're more looking at the mechanics of it. So here first is the play. So really what happens here is the back judge is because the punt returner, the actual or the intended punt returner is making a fair catch signal, the back judge gets too focused on the on him because he makes a fair catch signal, so he's completely convinced that the ball is going to get there, so he never sees the up back also make a fair catch signal and really gets interfered with there, and then he muffs the ball and we miss it completely. So a couple of things. It turns out that since the deep wings are looking in front of the play at potential blocks, they actually see part of this action, and we talked about this after the game, and they're more than welcome to come in and actually call this once they realize that the back judge is not didn't see this and is not going to call it. The other part is that one of the reasons that it's a really good idea for the back judge to be lined up behind the punt returner here so that we can see the kick and where the kick is going is that eventually it's going to give us an idea of where the kick is going. So here, in a perfect world, this back judge would have gotten an idea that this was a short kick so that we could have some focus on the up back here and see this as a fair catch signal, and their A9 gets too close, and once the ball is muffed there, this turns into kick catch interference. But really, it's about communication and about the deep wings stepping up once they realize that the back judge didn't see this, and it's about the back judge looking at the kick and then getting into position to get the catch and ideally at least see this action with the up back. Moving on to play number 5, we're looking at a deep wing down there across the field, but it really could be either deep wing, could also be a short wing on the pylon, on the goal line pylon, and what we're talking about here is is it better to be stationary or is it better to have a good angle? So we're looking at the outside receiver there, who's going to come across or come down towards the pylon. So basically, right now either the end line or the sideline could be threatened. So where do you move as a deep wing? How do you cover this play? It's not until right there it turns out that it's going to be the end line that is relevant. So this deep wing tries to move up and get a good angle, and there's really no there's no one way to do it. If you want to stay back and be stationary and look at the end line from back there, you can do that. I've seen a lot of good officials do that. if you want to move up and have, you know, the same or the opposite but the same angle as the back judge, you can also do that. You know, if you feel that you have a better look while being stationary, you know, maybe you want to do that. One thing I will say, if you need to sell a tight call, you're probably in better position right here, right now, than you would be back there. But really, it's a matter of personal preference, how you feel. More comfortable. Maybe you need to try it both ways and see what you like the best. And then whatever you decide, you know, once that tight call gets there, do a good job of selling it like these officials do here. Moving on to play number 6. And, you know, first of all, let me just say that the umpire was okay. So we are looking at the umpire here. Once the play gets started. So here we go. And he gets run over. So let me repeat, he is okay, but you know, we're in goal line mechanics again. So where the wings just react on the snap, they need to get to the goal line. The umpire really is supposed to read the play, and if he reads, you know, drop back pass or roll out pass, he's supposed to, according to our manual, our MOFO, he's supposed to move up towards the line of scrimmage. Here, I think, you know, if we take an extra half second to read the play, you know, I think most of the O linemen here look like they're blocking. If we look at the guard away from the camera, he takes a step forward. You know, if we take a look at the tackle over there, he's initiating a block, moving forward. So it's true that the backside may be taking a little step backwards, but I think all in all, also if you have half an eye on a quarterback right now, this certainly looks like, you know, it could turn into a play action, but right now it certainly looks like a run. I think we'd be in better shape as an umpire not to react to this as a pass. Now, if the quarterback still has the ball here, now we can start moving up. But I think we're a little bit premature here, and we end up paying the price for it. But again, you know, the umpire was okay, and we were able to move forward in the game. We're now moving on to play number 7, and here we're looking at referee and center judge. We're going to have okay, first of all, you know, again, I'd recommend for center judges, but also for referees, to move out a little wider in crews of 8. You know, halfway between the hash and the numbers, I don't think would be too wide, again, because you don't have to cover across the field. You only have to cover your own side of the field, and if the play moves away from you, you know, you are in charge of cleanup. So on this play, we're going to have a holding called by the tackle on the center judge's side. And again, we're not looking, you know, to grade the call, but right there he's gonna do hold, and it's not picked up by the center judge. Now, was this action covered by the pulling or by the fullback? Is that why we didn't see it? So, you know, maybe moving out a little wider would give us a better angle. But it was called by the referee, and you know, since it wasn't called, it's hard to fault the referee. I would certainly ask, you know, if you have cleanup, backside cleanup, why are you looking at the point of attack? So, you know, in terms of helping the crew, are you taking care of your own business first? And this holding really should be seen either by the center judge, could also be looked at by the wing. You know, in this formation, you've got the field judge and the back judge over here watching stuff. So you could, as a wing, you could be looking in at the tackle, you know, at the point of attack, so that we should have two sets of eyes on this. Neither of them saw this, so it was covered by the referee. But again, you know, helping the crew also most of the time means looking in your own area. Moving on to play number 8, and really 8, 9, and 10 are the same theme. We're going to, you know, the first couple of weeks we've had a lot of good no calls on holding. We've had a lot of potential for holdings that weren't called, and rightfully so, and we want to continue that trend of only calling holding when it really needs to be called. So we'll have a look at a few situations here and talk about why this was a good no call. We're looking at this defensive lineman here, and right there, a 53. You know, it certainly looks like holding. We'll have a look at the end zone shot too. But the reason I like it for a good no call is because it ends up being a double team. You know, the running back comes up there and participates in it, and when that happens, you know, I'm perfectly fine with the no call. So we've got B74 right there. And right there, you know, it certainly looks like the offensive player is getting into trouble, and Lucky Luke might see this and throw the flag right away. But if you wait half a second, oh, sorry about that. If you just wait half a second, right there, you end up with the no call, with a double team. And you know, by philosophy, we really don't want to call holdings on this type of a double team. So I think this is a good no call. Moving on to play number 9, it's going to be the same but different. So it's a different situation. We're looking at the tight end here, A8, and again, he's going to do, you know, get a little bit of a hold there. But the reason we're good with this not being called is right there. You know, Lucky Luke is going to call this, but if you look at the quarterback, he's already in this throwing motion, so the defender was never going to influence that play. So again, a well covered play, but this is not the type of situation where we want holding called. Moving on to the last of the mechanics plays, play number 10 is really a lot, you know, very similar to the previous play. Here we're looking at the guard here closest to the screen, closest to the video, and you know, Lucky Luke is going to see this right there and potentially throw his flag. But if you delay for just a second right there where, you know, the holding is at its biggest, you look at the quarterback, and again, he's already throwing the ball, so the defender, you know, never had a chance to get to the quarterback or even influence the quarterback in his throwing motion. So again, this is you know, even though it looks bad right here, but the quarterback is already getting rid of the ball. So again, a good no call, and we need to continue doing a good job of only calling the holdings that actually affect the play and need to be called. We're now moving on to, you know, my tip of the hat to this crew, and really, you know, the first one has to do with the line judge, who does a really good job. This is, I think, the second play of the game. You know, we had 1st and 10, and now it's 2nd and 2, but for some reason the box is at 4. So the line judge here does a really good job of, you know, making sure that we don't start a play with the wrong number on the box. Now, if we can do this on the radio without stopping the clock, obviously we want to do that, but that was not possible here. So we gotta. This is a good job of shutting everything down and going on the radio and making sure that the box says 2 instead of 4. the second and last tip of the hat from this game goes to a bunch of different officials, and the play is really not important. It's more the pinching and the cleanup after the play. So there's a little action there, and immediately the wing and the deep wing do a good job of pinching. You can tell by their body language and the speed that something's going on. You know, if we're only moving in very slowly, then nothing really is going on. But here you can tell that they're moving in a little faster because they need to handle something, which also makes the umpire get in there, the center judge gets in there, and you'll notice also that the referee and back judge, they kind of hang back a little bit so that we create a presence in the middle where we need it, but we also make sure that we still cover, you know, the bigger circle, everything around it, so that we have good coverage close by, but also a little bit more from a distance. So, you know, not rocket science, but very well handled by this crew. And finally, we get to the Mr. Clean Award of the week. And, you know, for those of you who are unfamiliar, Mr. Clean is awarded to any official who gets through the game without any downgrades, no incorrect calls, no marginal calls, no calls. But really, to get there, it goes beyond just the calls that we make. It really ties into what we started with, which is, you know, helping the crew and being yourself, or being comfortable in your own position, taking care of your own business before you start, you know, fishing in somebody else's pond. And that's really how, you know, the best way to help the crew out. And from this game, the Mr. Clean of the week goes to the linesman and the side judge. So congratulations, guys. And the only thing left for me is to wish everybody good luck in the upcoming games.